You eat every day, probably 3 times a day, give or take a snack. And most of the time, you don't think about it much. You're hungry, you eat something, you move on. Your body handles the rest. But what if, starting tomorrow, the only thing you ever put in your mouth was apples? Not apple juice, not apple sauce, just apples, raw, whole, every meal, every day, for an entire year. Now, here's the question this whole video is building toward. By day 365, would your body have found a way to adapt? Or would a year of nothing but apples quietly push it past the point of no return? Day 1 feels fine. Actually, day 1 might feel great. You're eating clean, you're eating something natural, and there's something satisfying about the simplicity of it. An apple has real nutrition, fiber, vitamins, natural sugar for energy. Your body doesn't panic on day 1. But your body does notice. Within the first few hours, your digestive system gets a signal it wasn't expecting. You've removed almost all protein. You've removed all fat. You've removed most of the minerals your cells depend on, things like sodium, potassium in large amounts, calcium, zinc. You're giving your body carbohydrates and water and not much else. And your body, which is extraordinarily good at managing what it gets, starts making quiet adjustments. By day 2, something interesting happens with your blood sugar. Apples contain fructose, which is just a natural sugar found in fruit. Your body processes fructose differently than regular glucose, the kind of sugar you get from bread or rice. Fructose goes almost entirely to your liver first, rather than spiking your bloodstream directly. So, ironically, in the first few days, your blood sugar is more stable than it might be on a typical diet full of processed carbs. Your insulin, the hormone that manages blood sugar, is quieter than usual. That's the first unexpected upside. Day 3. You're hungry. Not starving, but genuinely hungry in a way that feels different from normal hunger. What you're missing isn't calories. Apples have calories. What you're missing is protein. Your body needs protein to maintain every single structure it has: muscle, enzymes, immune cells, hormones. When protein stops coming in, the body doesn't just wait politely. It starts borrowing from itself. Specifically, it starts breaking down muscle tissue to harvest the amino acids, the building blocks of protein, it can't get from food. This process is called catabolism, which just means your body is quietly eating its own muscle to stay functional. It sounds alarming. It is alarming. But it's also a survival mechanism that's been running in humans for hundreds of thousands of years. Day 4 and 5. Your gut bacteria are having what can only be described as a crisis. Your gut contains somewhere between 38 and 100 trillion bacteria, different species that digest different foods. Many of those species depend on the variety of things you eat: fats, proteins, different types of fiber. When you switch to apples only, the bacteria that thrive on diversity start dying off. The bacteria that love fruit sugar start multiplying. By day 5, this microbial shift is showing up in ways you'd notice: bloating, gas, unpredictable digestion. Apples are high in a type of fiber called pectin, which ferments in your gut, and a lot of pectin fermenting all at once produces a lot of gas. This is not subtle. Day 6. Your kidneys are working harder than usual. Apples are high in potassium and low in sodium. Your kidneys have to maintain a precise balance of these two minerals in your blood, and right now, that balance is off. They're compensating, filtering aggressively, and you're urinating more than usual as a result. You might notice you feel slightly lightheaded when you stand up quickly. That's your blood pressure dropping slightly because your sodium levels are low. Not dangerous yet, but your body is having a conversation with itself about resources, and it's not a relaxed one. Day 7. Here's the part that surprises most people. You probably haven't lost as much weight as you'd expect. Your body has been in conservation mode all week. It slowed your metabolism, how fast you burn calories, to match the reduced intake. It's prioritizing keeping your organs running over keeping your muscles full. You're losing muscle faster than fat actually, because muscle is easier to break down for fuel than stored fat is. And here's the uncomfortable twist. That weight you do lose in week 1 is mostly water. Your body stores carbohydrates bonded to water molecules. When carb intake drops, those stores drain and the water goes with them. It looks like fat loss. It isn't. By week 2, your body has stopped being surprised and started being strategic. Your liver, which you probably don't think about much, but which is doing something like 500 different jobs at any given moment, has shifted into a state called gluconeogenesis, which just means it's manufacturing glucose from non-sugar sources. Specifically, it's converting amino acids from broken down muscle tissue into sugar your brain can use. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose. It cannot run on fat directly. So your liver is playing middleman, converting whatever it can find into brain fuel. This is expensive. It costs muscle, but your brain gets fed. Around week 3, something genuinely strange happens. Some people report feeling sharper, more focused, calmer. This sounds like it shouldn't be possible given everything your body is going through, but there's a real explanation. With almost no processed food, no variable blood sugar spikes, and the simpler digestive load, some people experience what researchers have documented as a kind of metabolic clarity. Not because apples are magical, but because the chaos of a typical modern diet is gone. The highs and crashes have leveled out. This feeling is real. It is also temporary. Week 4. Your hormones are shifting in ways you can't see but would absolutely feel. Testosterone in both men and women, because yes, women have testosterone too, it just performs different jobs, requires dietary fat to be produced. No fat coming in means your body's ability to synthesize sex hormones starts dropping. You might notice lower energy, lower mood, reduced drive across the board. This isn't psychological, it's biochemical. Your endocrine system, the network of glands that makes hormones, is running low on raw materials. But here's the twist nobody expects in week 4. Your skin might look better. Apples are loaded with vitamin C and polyphenols, plant-based compounds that act as antioxidants, meaning they neutralize the unstable molecules that damage your cells over time. With a flood of these compounds coming in daily and almost no processed fats or sugars to trigger inflammation, some people experience noticeably clearer skin, reduced redness, fewer breakouts. Researchers who've studied fruit-heavy diets have documented this pattern. It's one of the genuine upsides of this experiment, and it's happening at the exact same time your hormones are tanking. Your body's a system of contradictions. By week 6, the gut bacteria picture has stabilized into something new. The old diverse community is gone. What's replaced it is a much narrower population, bacteria that thrive specifically on pectin and fructose. These bacteria are efficient at processing what you're eating, but they're bad at almost everything else. The technical term researchers use is reduced microbiome diversity. The simple translation, your gut has lost its range. It can process apples. It cannot process much else. And here's why this matters. Your gut bacteria aren't just digestive workers. They produce neurotransmitters, regulate your immune system, communicate with your brain. A narrowed gut microbiome has been linked to elevated anxiety, immune vulnerability, and inflammatory responses. The effects are subtle at 6 weeks. They compound over time. By month 2, you have entered a new normal. Your body is not in crisis mode. It has adapted, in the way that a city adapts to a power shortage by shutting down non-essential services. The lights are still on, but a lot of things that used to run are now offline. Your bones are one of them. Calcium, which your bones need to stay dense, is present in apples, but in tiny amounts. You'd need to eat roughly 30 apples a day to meet the minimum recommended calcium intake. Most people on this diet are eating 8 to 12. Meanwhile, your body is still pulling calcium from your blood to maintain heart function and nerve signaling, because those systems are non-negotiable. When blood calcium drops, the body takes it from bones. Not dramatically, not all at once, just a quiet daily withdrawal from a savings account that is not being refilled. This is what researchers call bone resorption. Your bones are literally dissolving a small amount of themselves to keep your blood chemistry stable. Studies on severely restricted diets document measurable losses in bone density within 3 to 4 months. Not enough to notice, not enough to feel, just enough to matter. Years later, month 3, your muscles have lost significant mass. Not because you stopped exercising, though you probably have less energy to exercise, but because the amino acid drain has been continuous. Protein deficiency doesn't announce itself with pain. It announces itself with weakness, with slower healing, with a body that recovers from small cuts and scratches more slowly than it used to, with hair that starts thinning, because hair is made of a protein called keratin, and your body has decided hair is not a priority when it's trying to maintain your heart and your kidneys. Here's something that genuinely surprised researchers studying prolonged fruit-only diets. Iron levels often hold up longer than expected. Apples contain non-heme iron, a form your body absorbs less efficiently than the iron in meat, but absorbs nonetheless. And apples are full of vitamin C, which dramatically increases iron absorption. So the vitamin C and the iron are arriving together, which is almost like a built-in delivery system. Month 4. Your kidneys, which have been working overtime since week 1, are showing signs of strain. They process approximately 200 liters of blood per day, filtering waste, balancing minerals, regulating blood pressure. On a diet this imbalanced, they're filtering an unusual ratio of acids and minerals. The high fructose load is a particular stress. Your liver converts excess fructose into uric acid, which your kidneys then have to eliminate. Elevated uric acid over months is associated with gout, a painful inflammation of the joints, and in severe cases, kidney stones. Not everyone would experience this, but the pathway exists, and the longer this continues, the wider the door opens. Month 5 and 6. Something counterintuitive. Your digestion has become efficient. Grotesquely efficient, actually. Your gut bacteria, now narrowly specialized in processing pectin and fructose, have optimized for this specific job. You experience less digestive discomfort than you did in months 1 and 2. Your body has learned how to handle apples. The problem is that this efficiency comes at the cost of everything else. Your immune system, which relies heavily on gut bacterial diversity, has become less sophisticated. You might notice you catch things more easily. Small infections linger. Recovery takes longer. Your immune cells are still there, but the communication network that coordinates them, much of which runs through your gut, has degraded. And then there's the brain. Omega-3 fatty acids, fats found in fish, nuts, and seeds, are critical to brain cell membrane health. Your brain is approximately 60% fat by dry weight. It needs a continuous supply of certain fats to maintain the structure of its neurons. Apples have essentially zero omega-3s. By month 6, some people on severely fat-restricted diets report cognitive changes, slower processing, difficulty concentrating, a flatness to their emotional range. Here's what the second half of the year looks like, honestly. Some systems have adapted beyond what most people would expect. Your cardiovascular markers, blood pressure, LDL cholesterol, may have genuinely improved because you've removed all processed fats, all added sugars, all ultra-processed everything. The apple's pectin actively binds cholesterol in your digestive tract and pulls it out before it can be absorbed. Studies on high-fiber diets consistently show improvements in cardiovascular risk markers. Your heart, paradoxically, might be in better measurable shape at month 9 than it was before you started. Your blood sugar regulation is more stable than it's ever been because your insulin sensitivity, your cell's ability to respond to insulin efficiently, has improved dramatically on a low glycemic, high-fiber diet. If you had prediabetes markers before this experiment, they may have decreased. This is one of the documented, genuinely real benefits of fruit-centered eating, even in extreme forms. But here's what's also true by month 9. Your bone density is measurably lower. Your muscle mass has declined by somewhere between 15 and 25%, depending on your starting point and activity level. Your hormones are significantly disrupted. Your microbiome is a shadow of its former complexity. Your kidneys have been under sustained stress for 9 months, and your brain is operating without the fats it needs to maintain its structure. By day 365, if you made it, you would be a person who has survived. Not thrived, not optimized, survived in the way your body always survives, by making the best of what it was given, by prioritizing what cannot fail, by letting go of what can be rebuilt later, and by quietly, continuously adapting to an input it was never designed to receive. So here's the answer to the question we planted at the beginning. Would your body adapt, or would a year of nothing but apples push it past the point of no return? The answer is both, and that's what makes this experiment so revealing. Your body would adapt continuously, impressively, almost stubbornly. It would find ways to maintain brain function. It would find ways to keep your heart beating and your blood pressure relatively controlled. It would find ways to squeeze iron from an inefficient source and stabilize your blood sugar and process the same fiber day after day. Your body is not fragile. It is deeply, almost miraculously resourceful. But adaptation is not the same as health. Adaptation means your body found a way to keep you alive under conditions it wasn't built for. Health means every system has what it needs to function well, including the systems you'll need 20 years from now. Bone density, muscle mass, a diverse microbiome, a brain with the fat it needs to maintain its own structure, hormones with the raw materials to do their jobs. What this experiment actually reveals is something much bigger than apples. It reveals the architecture of human nutritional need, which is at its core the need for variety. Your body evolved over hundreds of thousands of years eating dozens of different foods in different seasons. It built redundancy, multiple ways to get the same nutrient, multiple pathways to the same fuel. That redundancy is what saved you during the apple year. But redundancy has limits, and the year of a single food slowly erases them. The most sophisticated machine in the known universe, the one doing 11 million operations per second just to keep you upright and breathing and reading these words, runs best when it gets what it was built to expect: a wide, varied, unpredictable range of inputs. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. 365 apples a day is a different story entirely.